Texans cannot afford the same government run by the same officials. It's time for Texans to take a stand.
She's running for governor in the Republican primary because she thinks Rick Perry doesn't represent Texans anymore. No, not Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, but Debra Medina. Can she be anything but a spoiler who hurts Perry? She's our guest. We'll ask her. Good morning and welcome to Inside Texas Politics. Our guest today, Debra Medina, Republican candidate for governor, and joining the questioning, as always, Gromer Jeffers, political writer for the Dallas Morning News. Thanks very much, Ms. Medina, for joining us today. You're a former Wharton County GOP chair. You worked with Ron Paul's campaign, both for president and for Congress, and you've never held a public office, but you're going to run for governor. You got about $10,000 in the bank. So, what's this campaign about? It's about bringing real principled conservative ideas to the governorship of Texas and restoring a constitutional republic. Okay. How so? What specifically? Well, we've seen lots of rhetoric by Republicans about limited government, and instead what we've seen in Texas is the spending grow, the debt nearly triple under the governor's leadership. We've got a senator that thinks she wants to be governor, that bails out failed Wall Street investment bankers. That's not limited government. It's not consistent with the values of a republic, and it's certainly not consistent with the values of the Republican Party. Cool.
Ms. Medina, you're going up against two titans of the Republican Party.
Yes, we are.
Where do you fit in, and how do you win, and how do you respond to assertions that you're nothing but a spoiler?
I think we've got a perfect storm brewing in Texas. Many political strategists see that coming. We've got Tea Parties and 9/12 groups, tired of politics as usual. I've certainly got a lot of grassroots support around the state, and almost every poll that you see shows the real winner of the poll is someone else. That someone else is Debra Medina. And we're looking forward to continuing that dialogue around the state. On your website, among the issues you have nothing mentioned about transportation, which is a huge issue here in North Texas. You do say property taxes eliminated, which begs the question, if you eliminate property taxes, how do you finance schools and local governments? I think we've got to start with that basic principle of freedom, two essential elements of freedom: private property ownership, gun ownership. Once we understand that, we'll quit compromising property ownership. We eliminate property tax so that we really own our property. We broaden the sales tax base in Texas. By broadening that base, we actually can get to revenue neutral revenue. By broadening the base, we lower the state sales tax from 6.25 to 6.1. So you lower the sales tax, you lower property taxes, and you finance local and schools. That's right. You raise dollar for dollar, you raise the same amount of dollars by taxing a broader base. There are 168 items around the country. You have a lot of skeptics on this position. Not my numbers. Not my numbers. Study released by Texas Public Policy Foundation in April. Dr. Art Laffer, one of the principal investigators on that study. Those are his numbers. We get to revenue neutral in Texas. Go.
Do you think your views represent the views of the majority of Texans?
Oh, clearly. Clearly. People are concerned about protecting private property. They're concerned about gun ownership. They want limited government. They want to be free to run their families and their businesses without overreaching government intervention. You appeared at the secession and sovereignty rally on August 29th in the Capitol. I'm going to play a clip of tape and listen to this, and I want to ask you about your statement that you made.
We are aware that stepping off into secession may in fact be a bloody war. We are aware. We understand that the tree of freedom is occasionally watered with the blood of tyrants and patriots.
In that statement, you're talking about a bloody war. You're aware that secession may lead to that. Are you condoning violence by some who think the state should secede?
No, absolutely not. I am talking very strongly about nullification and interposition as the tools available to states to secure the rights that we have in the 10th Amendment.
What are you talking about with a bloody war and secession of the state of Texas with that statement?
That rally was sovereignty versus secession, and I'm saying we better work on sovereignty using nullification and interposition, because when you start talking about secession, that's not an easy road. I think we've got people like the governor tossing that out nonchalantly.
Do you
as
support secession of the state of Texas?
I do not. I support nullification and interposition as a means to ensure the sovereignty of the state of Texas.
And you're not condoning violence by that statement?
Absolutely not. I'm warning us that that type of rhetoric will lead to violence. We better be careful before we start tossing that around. To protect the sovereignty of the state, we need the legislature to be nullifying overreaching federal law. We need to be using interposition, and those are the tools.
The single major difference between you and Rick Perry, what do you think?
Rick Perry sold out to international business. Debra Medina is sold out to everyday working Texans. That's who I'm protecting.
Do you think that you'll take some of the support that he would get in the primary if you weren't running? And how much?
I think I'm going to draw support from all demographics in Texas. We're reaching out to every area of the state geographically, to every political demographic, looking hard to engage the Latino community, which the Republican Party has traditionally ignored. We share a lot of common values. We have strong family values. We have small businesses that we need the government to leave alone so that they can produce all that they can, and we're looking forward to that dialogue here in Texas.
Would you agree that no candidate such as yourself has won a major race in Texas in a while?
Well, in Texas, I think so, but you know, if you look in our history, we see people who kind of rise up to serve at such a time as this. Ronald Reagan is someone that Republicans esteem, and Reagan had no political elected office before he became governor of California. We can look back over the history of this nation and see people serving for just such a time. And this is our time in Texas to put an average Texan, somebody who's paid attention to the political world, understands the political world, but hasn't been corrupted by it, in office to lead Texas.
We've got about a minute left. Do you expect to get an endorsement from Congressman Paul? He's written a letter which has been very warm toward you, but do you expect his endorsement? And he still sits on a sizable campaign chest. Is he going to help finance your campaign?
He does. He's given us some help, certainly, with his very kind letter recently. I think Ron and I both stay away from that word endorsement, and I don't expect to see him. He hasn't historically endorsed people in races. He'll tell you who he supports. Clearly, there's a lot of ideological similarity between the two of us, and so I cherish his friendship and look forward to a good working relationship with him and the whole Texas
Financially, will he support you?
I believe so.
Okay.
If you wake up the day after the primary and Kay Bailey Hutchison is the winner, how would you feel about that?
Sad for Texas.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to seeing you again on the campaign trail.
Thank you
very much. You bet.